Good morning and welcome to Unit 2, Day 1. All right, I hope that you guys had a good day and good morning so far. All right, so we are going to start talking about how you take multisyllabic words and how you pull them apart and figure out how to read them. But last week we were introduced to two syllable types, and so I do want to kind of go over these before we go back and try to use them to read multisyllabic words. So we learned our first syllable type was closed, remember? So we learned that in a closed syllable word, you have one vowel closed in by one or more consonants, and the vowel sound is short. All right, so in the case of hop here, Oscar Orange is closed in by the P, and so he feels comfortable to make his sound safely, that short vowel sound of his. But by contrast, an open syllable, which is exactly the opposite of a closed one, you have a vowel at the end of the syllable that has lots of room to kind of say his name and make his long vowel sound. So here, in the case of go, Mr. O feels like he's got lots of space to say his name because he's at the end of the word or the syllable. And he's making his long vowel sounds. We have our closed syllables and our open syllables. In this unit, all the words that we're going to be looking at are going to be made up of just these two syllable types. We'll be learning others as we go along, but so far we're just working with these two right here. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to build a couple of words for you, okay, using what we've learned so far. All right. So while I'm putting them up here, I want you to go ahead and look at the words. You probably know how to read them, but I want you to think about what type of syllable you think they are. All right. So look at that first word. Okay, like I said, I know you know how to read it, but what type of syllable do you think it is? Do you think it's closed or it's open? And I want you to show me which one you think it is by making a sign with your hand. So if it's closed, I want you to make a C for closed. If it's open, I want you to make a O for open, okay? That way I can see what all of you guys think, even though I can't necessarily hear you all at the same time. So look at this first word. All right, what type of syllable do we think it is? We think it's open, right? I see a bunch of you putting your O's up there. You're right, absolutely, it is an open syllable. Zach, can you tell me why you think it's an open syllable? So unmute yourself and tell me what you think. Right, because there is no consonant right at the end, like it's all by himself at the end. You're right. So would we expect to see Mr. E or Eddie Elephant? Mr. E. You're absolutely right. There you go. And so he's making his long E sound. So let's all tap this word out and read it. Sh, E, she. Nice. Okay, so let's look at this word over here. Do we think this is closed or open? I see you guys are all making a bunch of C's. Right, it's closed. Imogen, can you unmute yourself and tell me why you think this is closed? Because there are consonants after that E. You're absolutely right. So would we expect to see the long E sound of Mr. E? Or are we expecting to see the short sound of Eddie Elephant? Short sound of Eddie Elephant. Let's check and see. You are absolutely right. Here we go. Let's tap out that word. Help. Help. Good job. All right. So on your, you take out a piece of paper or grab your whiteboards, whichever you've got handy. And I want you to divide your word into two columns, closed and open, okay? And then you have three words here, and I want you to write each one of these words underneath the correct column, whether you think this is an open or a closed syllable. And then you're going to write that word underneath there. And then we're going to go over them in just a second. So I'll give you a second to do that. And when you're finished or when you're ready, kind of give me a thumbs up to let me know that you're done. All right, I see some thumbs up. A couple more. Okay, it looks like you guys are ready. So this first word, let's read this word. You can tap it out with me. Flew. Flew. So which side did you put it? On the closed or open? Open. Okay, I saw the O's for open. And why did we put it there? Because the vowel sound is at the end of the word or the syllable. Nice job. Okay, let's do the word, this next word. Let's tap it out together. Skin. What vowel sound do you hear in skin? You hear the Who makes that sound? Impy ink. So is that going to be a short sound or a long sound? Short sound. And that's going to be in what type of syllable? Closed syllable. And we also know that skin is closed because why? Because there's a consonant coming after that I. You're absolutely right. So let's do our last word. Let's tap this one out. I. Hi. Where did you put that one? Open. All right. And why did you put that there, Imogen? Because because there was no consonant at the end. Absolutely. So it's wide open to make that long vowel sound. Good job. Okay. So we also have some other friends that we probably remember from previous years. And I want you to look at these three first. Then we're going to look at a couple of others. All right. So what do those three have in common? All right. What do you think they have? I know they have H's at the end, but that's not the only thing they have in common. Does anybody think they know? Kind of give me a thumbs up or a hand if you know. Arjun, did you think you knew? Okay, so let's look at this one. What do these two, what do they all have in common? They're only one sound. You're absolutely right. But how many letters are in each one of them? 2. So each one of these has 2 letters, but it only makes one sound. And there is a special word for that, which you might remember from 1st grade, called a digraph. Interestingly enough, digraph has a digraph in it that we're going to learn later. But when you have 2 letters that make one sound, that's called a digraph. And we had a digraph in our word she, and we also have a digraph in here, CK. Okay, so these are the 5 that we have learned so far. We will learn some more consonant digraphs, and we'll actually learn some vowel digraphs too. All right, so let's go over these really quickly. Clever cat and kicking king say k in words. Sammy Snake and Hairy Hat Man say sh in words. All right. Clever cat and Hairy Hat Man say ch in words. Now we have 2 sounds for T and H, or for Talking Tess and Hairy Hat Man. We have a voiced one and we have an unvoiced. So the voiced makes the sound. So Talking Tess and Hairy Hat Man say but the unvoiced, or the quiet sound, Talking Tess and Hairy Hat Man make the sound. Nice job. Okay, let's build some words. Now, when we build our words, we're going to be building words today that have more than one syllable in them. So we're going to need our syllable division rules when we do that. Now, I have the first 3 of them written up on my chart so that you guys can see them easily, but you should also have a syllable types bookmark. And your bookmark has your syllable types on the one side. So when we talk about syllable types, or I ask you what type of syllable do you think something is, you can look here if you can't see my poster on the back pretty easily. And then on the right hand side, you have your syllable division rules and your quick coding. Okay, and so we'll be doing a lot more with quick coding as we move into some of our new units. But I'm also going to be talking, when we divide words, I'm going to talk to you about how I know how to divide them. And I'm going to show you what I do. And then over time, I'm going to get you to start doing it with me. So you can use that bookmark as your help. All right. So the first word that I am going to build look carefully as I build the word. Think about how we might divide this word. Okay, so now some of you, again, probably know this word. And if you do, that's great. But what I want you to do is think about what you know about this word. And so if you didn't know it, how might you figure out how to divide it? Okay, well, I can tell you that the best way to start is to think about the vowels, because if I want to divide this word into my syllables, I need to think about my vowels, because all syllables, as we learned last week, have to have a vowel sound in them. They don't have to have a consonant, but they do have to have a vowel sound. So I'm going to start off by marking my vowels so that it's easier for me to see them and easier for you to see them. So now when I look at this, I see that I've got two vowels. I have an O here and I have an O there. But how do I know again? How do I divide it? Well, I have syllable division rules to help me. And those rules are about how many consonants are in between my vowels. So if I can find my vowels, then I can look in between them and see how many consonants. Well, if I find my vowels here and I look in between, I have just one consonant, right? Well, I want you to look at your syllable division rules on your bookmark, and I'm going to look over here at my poster, and we're going to try to figure out which syllable division rule works. So the first one says divide between two consonants. Can we use that one? No, because we only have one. The next one says with three consonants divide. Well, do I have three consonants? No, I just have one, so I can't use that one either. Divide before the first consonant or after it. Well, before one or the other. That makes it sound like there's only one. Well, if I look at my examples, tiger and cabin, there is only one consonant in between those words. So I think this might be the syllable division rule I need. So I'm going to look over here, and I have one, and it says I have to choose. Divide before the first consonant or after it. Well, I have to tell you there's not a special way to know whether you divide it with the first one or the second one. When you know the word, or once you figure out the word, if it doesn't make sense, you might try it the other way. But I think that lots of times it works if I try it with the second one. Not every time, but lots of times. So I'm going to try it that way first. And if that doesn't make a word we know, then we'll try it the other way. All right, so let's look at our first syllable. Here's our first syllable. Okay, what type of syllable do we think this is? Open or closed? Open, right. And how do I know that? Because there is nothing after it. Good. So, Holly, who would I expect to see back here? Mr. O or Oscar Orange? Mr. O, because I'm looking for that long vowel sound. And you are absolutely right. So let's tap what we have here. O. Row. Okay, row is my first syllable. So let's look at the second one. Okay, what type of syllable do we think this is? Closed or open? I see a lot of C's for closed, right? Because how do I know that, Mason? Because I have a consonant that comes after my vowel. So, Mason, am I going to be looking for Mr. O, like over here in row, or am I going to be looking for Oscar Orange? I'm going to be looking for Oscar Orange, who's making that short vowel sound. There you go. Nicely done. Okay, so now let's tap out what we have here. B, ot, bot. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a new strategy. This is called palming syllables. Now, when we were reading our syllables, we were using our tapping strategy that we learned last year. But I don't want to tap all the way across a big word that has more than one syllable. That would take me a long time, and I don't know that that would be the best way for me to try to read it. And I don't think it's going to be the best way for you to try to read it either. So when we are reading multisyllabic words, after we figure out how to read each syllable, we're going to read the syllables by doing something called palming. And so we're going to take the palm of our hand, the flat of our hand, and we're going to scoop under or over the words. All right. Now, when I'm going to show you the words, I'm going to scoop or palm under so that you can see the words when I do it. But when we stand here like this, we might palm up or you might palm down. It doesn't really matter which one you do. But remember, we're going to palm the syllables, tap the sounds inside the syllable. We never want to tap across our syllables. All right? So here we go. Let's palm what we built. Row, Robot. All right. Let's try it again. We're going to pull all the syllables together, and we're still going to say those individual syllables first because I want you to be able to find them even when the whole word is together. So here we go. Robot. Now let's say that whole word. Robot. Good. All right. Now, is that a word that do we recognize that as a word? We do. Okay. A robot is a machine that we can program to do things for us. Like we have robots that help us make cars, mow our lawns, vacuum our floors, do surgery. There are all kinds of robots now, or to play games with. If I had put this with that first syllable, I would have built the word robot. And is robot a word? No. So when you're doing this and you have to decide, you can check yourself. If it doesn't make a real word, then it probably goes with the other syllable. All right, nicely done. Okay, so I want you to write the word robot on your papers. Okay, let's do another word. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Here we go. Here's our next word. So remember, the first thing I've got to do is I've got to find my vowels. So I found my vowels. Then I need to look and see how many consonants I have in between. I only have one, so I'm going to use the same syllable division rule that I used before. It's number C on your bookmarks. So I'm going to try putting the vowel with that second syllable. And then I want you to look at the first syllable. Let's try, what type of syllable do we think this is? Closed or open? Open. So the vowel sound is going to be long or short? Long. Well, let's check. All right, here we go. Let's tap out the syllable that we built. Mew. Mew. All right, good job. Let's look at that second syllable. Okay, is that closed or open? I saw closed. Okay, so does that mean the vowel sound is going to be long or short? It's going to be short. So we would expect to see empty ink. All right, let's tap it out. Sick. Sick. Nice. Okay, so now let's palm our syllables together. Here we go. Music. Okay. All right, we're going to put this together. Here we go. Music. Now I'm going to say the whole word. Music. Did you hear something change? Let's do it again. Let's do music. Music. Ah, I see a hand. All right. Leah, what did you hear? Oh, you heard Sammy Snake you heard Sleepy Sammy instead of regular Sammy, right? Sammy Snake was kind of sleeping on the job, and he's making that zzz sound here. So when we pull the syllables together, we heard Sammy snoring. Music. There are going to be a lot of words that are going to have some sound that changes when we go from the syllable to the whole word level. It'll happen a lot with vowels, but so we've got to keep our eyes peeled, looking and listening for those sound changes. All right, I want you to write music on your board, and we're going to do one more word. Okay, look at my word that I have up here. Okay, let's look for those vowels. There you go. Okay, so I found my vowels. I have two vowels. That means I probably have two syllables. So I've got to look at how many consonants I have in between. I only have one. So I'm going to use that same syllable division rule that we've used with the two previous words. I'm going to pull it over here. Okay? Look at the first syllable. What type of syllable do we think this is? Open, right? Open. And we know that because there's, right, no consonants behind that vowel. So that vowel sound is going to be long or short? Long. Mr. E, you're right. It is the long vowel sound. Okay, let's tap out what we've got here. E. E. Good. This isn't, open syllables are the only syllable type where the syllable can be just a vowel. All right, let's look over here. Second syllable, what type of syllable do we think this is? Closed or open? Closed, right. Okay, and how do we know? Because there's a consonant behind it, right. So is the sound going to be long or short? It's going to be short. Let's check. You're absolutely right. We heard Eddie Elephant, so let's tap out. And then. All right. Let's go back and let's poem our syllables. Even. Okay? Let's pull them together. Make sure you get your poeming hands up. Even. Now I'm going to pull the whole word together and I'm going to tell you a sound is probably going to change for a lot of you. Even. Did you hear it? Let's do it again. Even. Even. Did anybody hear it? Somebody hear it? Ah, okay, Skylar, did you hear it? Okay, so what sound was it? It was the E. Was it this E or this E? The second E. Right. For some of you, when you said it, it might have sounded more like Impy Ink was there. Even as opposed to even. When we have a sound like that that changes, when the vowel sound changes like that, it's called a schwa. And it's going to happen a lot in a lot of words. And it's because as we're trying to say the words quickly, like as English speakers, we like to move to the next word sooner rather than later. We like to talk quickly to get our words out. And so sometimes we sort of squish some sounds together in words, particularly some vowel sounds get a little bit scrunched. And when they do, we don't hear them making their pure sound. So they make more of an I or an sound. Okay, and so that is called a schwa. And I want you guys to be schwa hunters because we're going to find them in a lot of words this year. And so I want you to be keeping a sharp eye out for those schwas. They can be quite tricky. All right. All right, let's write the word even up here. Okay, so now let's look at the three words that we built. So our first word, let's say it by syllables, robot, robot. Our first word, remember we said a robot was a machine that can help us do things. Look at our second word, music, music, okay? There's all different types of music. Everyone has their favorite type to listen to. My favorite is probably Celtic or classical. Okay, next word is even, even. If something is even or a number is even, you can divide it into two equal amounts without having to break anything in half. So 6 is an even number because I can divide it into two groups of 3. But 5 wouldn't be an even number because I'd have to divide it to 3 and 2 or 2 and a half to make it equal. So robot, music, even. Nice job. Okay. So now today, what you're going to be doing with your independent work is you're going to be reading some of the words from our student list. You're going to be practicing those. And many of them are going to have more than one syllable. So as you read them, kind of listen to those vowel sounds, look at how they're structured, and think about whether they're closed or open. And then you're also going to have some review sentences to practice. So good job practicing, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.